With the signing of Juancho Hernangomez earlier on in the week, the Raptors have maxed out their summer roster with 20 players, meaning they must cut 3 of those guys before the season begins. So in today's video, I'm going to give you everything you need to know about the current roster and reveal who the Raptors should really be cutting before the season begins. Let's get into it. What's going on, NBA and Raptors fans? It's Jacob here back with Amateur Hour Sports for another Toronto Raptors YouTube video. On this channel, I bring you the greatest coverage and analysis on the latest Toronto Raptors news. So if that is of interest to you, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Help us on a road now to 12,000 subscribers. Yes, we just hit 11,000 subscribers on the channel. Thank you guys so much for the support. What an unreal month we have just had. The best month in the history of amateur sports, all thanks to you guys. And hey, if you find yourself enjoying this video along the way, be sure to drop a like to give that extra little bit of support, get this video out to some new viewers. But today's video all about the Raptors roster, and this is a topic that I did cover on my second channel, Amateur TV, but I did want to go a little bit more in depth in this one, talk through more about the roster, the shape of it, and also I want to give more of my takes on who I think the Raptors should actually be cutting from this roster. So those are all the things that we're going to cover over the course of this video, because Juancho Hernangomez was signed on Tuesday, and that was a nice pickup by the Toronto Raptors to round off the 20-man roster for the summer. So if you don't know, for the summer, you're allowed to carry 20 players on your roster, and then for the regular season, you're allowed to have 15 plus 2, 15 players on your main roster, accompanied by 2 players on two-way deals for a total of 17 players. So obviously, 3 players would have to get cut from the 20 players currently on the roster. Juancho Hernangomez was a nice addition to round off the 20. I thought that, with the 20th guy coming in, usually you're not going to get somebody who's really that recognizable of a name. And even despite the fact that he was Bo Cruz in Hustle on Netflix in a movie with Adam Sandler, and that's probably where a lot of people know him nowadays, I did know Juancho Hernangomez before the movie, and after the movie I still recognize him as a decent basketball player. But we do need to see if he's good enough to make this roster. I mean, he's going to be in a battle to get that position on this team, just like, maybe he had to go through a battle in the movie. I mean, this is not a player who's a guaranteed lock to make the roster, because there is so much talent on this team. So let's go through the players that are actually on this roster. Just give you all 20 of these players. I'll go by position, and if you see somebody who you think is in the wrong position, just know, it's the Raptors. They don't play with positions. So, if you think Achua should be a power forward or Boucher should be a center, whatever. These are just the 20 guys on the roster, regardless of their position. So starting with the guards, you've got Fred VanVleet, Dalano Banton, Malachi Flynn, Jeff Doughton, and David Johnson, accompanied by the shooting guards, Gary Trent Jr., Armoni Brooks, and Svi Myhailiuk, who is a player that we will need to discuss a little bit more in depth later on in the video. I'm sure you guys are going to be eager to hear what I have to say about this player. We all know what we want for the Raptors to do with this guy, but we move on to the small forwards. We have OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, who again could be a power forward on this list, Otto Porter Jr., Justin Champagnie, Ron Harper Jr. Power forwards are Siakam, Chris Boucher, Thaddeus Young, DJ Wilson, Juancho Hernangomez, who could also be a small forward. And then the centers, you have Achua, Kem Birch, and Christian Koloko. Those are the 20 players on the current roster. A lot of talent here, a lot of top-heavy talent here, and even in the depth. I really like the team that we are putting together here. I'm a huge fan of the supposed top 9 in our roster being, the normal starting 5 that we have, along with President Achua, Chris Boucher, Thaddeus Young, and now Otto Porter Jr., but I really like the type of pieces that we may be able to fill out the rest of the roster with, and these guys, it's going to be super exciting to see over the course of camp and over the course of preseason games. See what they've worked on and see what they are going to offer this team to warrant an opportunity to be on the regular season roster for the season. So let's get into a little bit of a tier list here to kind of help us along the way here. It'll just help me kind of explain where I want everybody to fit in here. So as you see with the tier list, we're going to start with the locks. Now, there probably are some other players who can kind of fit into this lock category, but just for the sake of the video and for visibility, there is going to be a tier underneath called the confident, which are pretty much locks. But two-way players who, they're going to be on the roster because they're already on their two-way contracts. You have the should be fine tier, the players that, okay, maybe looking over their shoulder a little bit, but should be fine, should be able to make the roster with little to no problems. You've got the on the edge, so on the cusp of getting cut, and then there's going to be 3 players in the bottom tier. The tier that you do not want to be in if you're a player, these are the players who I believe should get cut from the roster. So starting with the players that we have here up top in the locks, it's your normal starting 5 and your 6th man in Precious Achiuwa. Many people are saying that Precious Achiuwa should even start over Gary Trent Jr., and that's a discussion for another video. I'm certainly a debate there, but these are the 6 guys. Absolute locks. This is the core that the Raptors are going to be building around, hopefully for the next few years, as long as we can keep everybody. Contracts pending for Gary Trent Jr., Fred VanVleet, and some other ones are going to start creeping up there. But this is the core. Don't need a lot of explaining here. So let's move down to the next tier, the confident tier. I'm confident these guys are going to be on the roster. They could even be locks here, but you've got Chris Boucher, Thaddeus Young, and Otto Porter Jr. all signed to contracts in the summer. Boucher and Thad were guys who re-signed. Otto Porter Jr., excellent pickup from the Golden State Warriors in free agency. You've also got the 33rd overall pick in Christian Koloko, who has not officially signed, but it's going to happen at some point. The only reason I would say he hasn't been signed yet is because you don't know where you want to pull the money from to give him. If a trade happens, you have some options. So the Raptors keeping some flexibility. Maybe they're entertaining Kevin Durant talks or Donovan Mitchell talks or other talks in general. They're just waiting out simply because they can, and they don't have to give him his contract just yet, but it's going to get signed at some point. Koloko, I don't believe is necessarily going to be on like the NBA roster from day one, but he's going to be in the 15-man roster. And, you know, if that means he's going to be playing in the G League at the start of the season, which I think is a great avenue for him, that's fine. He's still going to be on that 15-man roster before the two-way guys who are next here. The two-way guys, I mean, they're virtually locked in because they've already signed their contracts. Ron Harper Jr., right after the draft, signed a two-way deal. The Raptors were extremely confident in this player. And you've also got Jeff Dowtin, who was great in Summer League for the Raptors. I would say quietly the best player for the Raptors in Summer League, was excellent in the G League last season. There is definitely some talent here in Jeff Dowtin Jr. I mean, the way he kind of runs the offense is awesome. It's going to be fun to watch him in the G League. He's very composed. And one thing about him that makes me think he can threaten some of the other point guards on this list to get more of a backup role in the NBA with the Raptors, that he makes a very limited amount of mistakes. He doesn't foul like ever. He doesn't turn over the ball like ever either. He very rarely turns over the ball. Picks up a good amount of assists, a good amount of rebounds, and is a very efficient and good shooter. This is a player to watch out for this season, and I love the fact that we got him. Surprisingly, on a two-way, I thought he might just make the actual 15-man roster, but hey, I'm all for seeing him do some great work with the Raptors 95, potentially in the NBA as well. Now we move down the list, and this is where it can get a little bit complicated. These are the guys that I'm not 100% sure are going to be with the roster on day one, but these are the guys on this tier here where, you know, I think that they will make it. They should be fine. Like, they should be able to get themselves a spot in the roster, and it's going to start with Khem Birch here. Like, he's getting like $6-7 million. I don't think he's going to be tremendous for the Raptors this season. I do think he's going to get some minutes here or there, especially if there are injuries, but like, I don't think he's an absolute lock. Like, if something were to happen, maybe some different players are here, or just, I don't know, the Raptors don't like what they see, I don't think it's completely out of the realm of possibility he gets waived, but it is extremely, extremely unlikely. More likely would be some of the other guys on this list. Dalano Banton is here along with Malachi Flynn. Dalano Banton, people are treating him like he's going to be on the edge and fighting for a roster spot. I mean, I just don't see that with the 46th overall pick. Showed a lot of promise, showed that he was well above expected last season, even though he did kind of struggle near the end of the season to have any sort of impact. There are a lot of deficiencies in his game, but his size and his raw talent, if we can harness that, add in some other skill set, like maybe make him a better ball handler, a better passer, and a better shooter, this could be somebody who's contributing at the NBA level consistently at some point in his career. I believe that, and there's no reason to get rid of that from the roster. Keep him around 100%. Malachi Flynn as well. I mean, there's just not enough talent that can overtake him here to take his spot on the roster. I think he's going to get one more year with the Raptors to prove what he's got, or else next summer, there could be problems finding a career or a job in the NBA. I don't think it's going to be with the Raptors. Could be with another team. But hey, we're going to give him another season to see what he's got. And then we're actually going to add in a player here. Surprisingly, I am going to toss in Svi Myhailiuk into the should be fine tier. And the reason he should be fine is not because of his basketballing ability or his basketballing talent. It's because he's making $1.9 million guaranteed this season. So the Raptors, if they want to waive Svi Myhailiuk, completely possible, could easily be in the on the edge tier, but like, he's not only got to get beat out in summer camp, which, I mean, Svi Myhailiuk is still like an okay player. He was obviously poor last season. We've seen him, I mean, I've seen him hit so many threes against the Raptors, but he just like refused to hit any for the Raptors in the season that we just watched. Maybe he finds something, maybe he gets something back, I don't know, but if he gets beat out in summer camp, not only do you have to beat him out for talent, you have to beat him out in the sense that we are willing to pay this player $1.9 million to not play for our team this season, and then sign a guy for additional money, and the guy that's probably coming in from that summer camp is also not going to get a lot of play time anyway. So a player would have to overtake Svi and make it very worthwhile for the Raptors to waive him. I think he should be fine. Maybe he won't be, but like, the fact that he's guaranteed money, he should be fine, but again, maybe they will waive him. Now we move down to the on the edge tier. These are players, again, who are going to be scraping to get into the roster. They are by no means guaranteed. They have to work extremely hard to do that. And the players I have here right now are Justin Champagnie. And then I also have in Juancho Hernangomez and Armoni Brooks. We're going to talk about them in just a sec. Only two players in the cut tier being DJ Wilson and David Johnson, because we need to have a further conversation about Hernangomez and Armoni Brooks. As far as the players getting cut, David Johnson, I know he was the 47th overall pick last season. I think he's about to get the Juan Hernandez treatment. Like, showed not a lot of promise in the G League, was really poor in the Summer League. There's a lot more talent in this roster. I don't mind cutting him. DJ Wilson, like, he's already 26. Is he really going to get any better than he is? I'm not so sure about that. I feel like there's more talented players available here. Juancho Hernangomez being one of them in a similar size, similar role. So, unfortunately, I think DJ Wilson gets cut as well. Not everybody can make the roster, which means one more needs to go. I would 100% keep Justin Champagnie. He's an excellent rebounder for his size. Love what he does off the glass, especially the offensive glass. Developed a lot as a spot-up shooter in the G League last season, and even scoring off the dribble, even slashing to the rim. There's a lot of talent there I really want to work with, especially for a 21-year-old. Do not want to let him go. I think he should be in the should be fine tier. It's just I don't think the Raptors perceive it that way, but I think he should be fine, which leaves Brooks and Hernangomez. And for Hernangomez, here's a player who's tall, 6'9", 6'10", can shoot the three ball pretty well, has struggled to find a real home in the NBA. Same goes for Armoni Brooks, but you know, these are guys that their predominant skill is shooting. Brooks was great when he came into the Raptors, considering what we had on the roster. He gave us a role, was great in that game against Cleveland. Such an important game, can hit the three ball. But, you know, Svi Myhailiuk, like I said, is in the should be fine tier. Brooks is a similar player to Svi Myhailiuk. Hernangomez offers us something a little bit different, especially with that size. I can see the Raptors going with Hernangomez instead of Armoni Brooks. Brooks is on that partial guarantee, as is Hernangomez, but I don't think it's that outrageous to say that if they're both shooters, I'm going to go with the taller one, who maybe offers a little bit more versatility on the court. I would say if the Raptors really want to keep Brooks, maybe waiving Svi is the right course of action, but I'm not sure that's going to be the case. I can see this one going either way between Brooks and Hernangomez, and if you disagree with me, like, I completely understand why you'd go with Brooks instead, but I'd say it's a 50-50, and I'm going to lean on the side of Hernangomez, and I'm going to put him on the roster above Armoni Brooks, meaning the three players I would cut are Brooks, Wilson, and Johnson. Let me know what you guys think about that, but that is how I expect the summer to go, but so many different things could change. We need to see the preseason games. Maybe somebody has a desperate Decker type of game where they launch like a ton, like 15 threes against the Washington Wizards and force themselves on the roster. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm excited to watch it all unfold, and I'll be covering it all along on Amateur Hour Sports. So what do you guys make of the summer camp roster? Let me know who you think is going to get cut from the team in the comments down below, because that is it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please, if you did enjoy, be sure to drop a like. When you like the video, it goes a long way to supporting the channel, because YouTube will take that like and say, well, this guy likes the video, or this girl likes this video. This other person with similar interests may also enjoy this video, and therefore the video is recommended to more people. It takes you just a second to like the video, but it does help me out a lot. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Help us on the road now to 12,000 subscribers. I could talk all day about how grateful I am, but guys, truly, thank you so much for 11,000 subscribers. We're starting something big here on Amateur Hour Sports, and I'm so excited to have you along for the journey. I'll see you again next time for another video.